Welcome to the Journal Editorial Report. I'm Paul Gigot. Well, the honeymoon may be over for Hillary Clinton, with evidence this week that the drip of stories about her emails and Clinton Foundation dealings may finally be having an impact. A new poll finds American opinion of Clinton at a 14-year low, with just 46% of those surveyed viewing her favorably, compared with 50% viewing her unfavorably. A big change from 2 months ago. And on whether Clinton is honest and trustworthy, the same poll found just 42% of people saying she is, with 57% saying she's not. Joining the panel this week, Wall Street Journal columnist and deputy editor Dan Henninger, assistant editorial page editor James Freeman, and Washington columnist Kim Strausel. So, Kim, let's start with you. You had a fascinating column this week with reporting some links about people who have served time at the Clinton Foundation, the State Department, and now the Clinton campaign. What did you learn?
Well, I think the point here is when you take a big look at this foundation, the Clinton Family Foundation, which has been the center of all these news stories and causing a lot of headaches for Hillary Clinton, what you begin to see is that this place, it's not really a charity so much as it is a place where the Clintons park all of their political operatives when they're not running for campaigns so they can roll them back out when they are running for office again. And one of the things I found is that significant numbers of people that are in senior management jobs at that foundation are long-time Clinton political operatives. They go to the foundation for a while and then they go back and work on her campaign, and that's what you're seeing happening at the moment.
And the foundation itself spends a surprisingly large share of its what it raises on administration and staff rather than giving the money away.
Yeah, and that leads to all these questions. Those donors who are out there, are they aware that so much of their money is basically going to pay for Clinton cronies and Clinton political operatives? And in fact, are some of them maybe even giving money for that reason? Because this seems to be a sort of shadow campaign organization for the Clintons.
Maybe they were aware of what they were doing, and they figured this was just another way of showing they can support the Clinton political project.
No, and this, I think, gets into some very serious questions, because the foundation is not monitored and looked at the way that other political organizations are, and does not have to operate under the same rules as, for instance, any Republican candidate who's out there at the moment.
Okay, so James, let's talk about the poll impact of all of this. Finally, we're seeing some numbers impact on Hillary Clinton. How worried should her campaign be about these declines, particularly in honest and trustworthy?
Yeah, that's a really troublesome number when it gets over 50%. Even though it's early, it's a ways out from the general election. Obviously, important impressions are formed. And I think one problem for the Clintons is they've basically adopted the 1990s line during their previous scandals, is if you can't prove a felony, if you can't convict the Clintons of something, then you really need to shut up. And,
this is their defense.
This is the defense, and this is what they've said when people raise all of the questionable fundraising at the foundation and all of his paid speeches. The problem is that at that point he was trying to hold on to the presidency. The question was he going to be thrown out? Now they're asking voters to give her the presidency. So I think voters are probably going to have a higher bar than, okay, no felony conviction, yes, it's okay what you've been doing.
But Dan, this is what the Clinton campaign aides are saying. Look, this is what happens when you become a candidate. She's no longer above the fray as Secretary of State or First Lady. This is what happens with partisan attacks. And look at the polls. Democrats are still solidly behind her. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. And look, and so there's no threat to the nomination.
Look, Paul, she's been in public life since at least 1992, and you've got in this poll 57% saying they regard her as a dishonest person. If I had a number like that, I'd shoot myself.
But she's a politician, Dan. You're a journalist.
Yeah, mine could be worse. There is another number in that poll that I think should be troubling for them. Her unfavorable among independents is 39%. That 40% is a benchmark. Once you
mean
fall
her favorability is?
Her favorability. Right, is at 39%. That's a bad number. Even the Democrats are going to have to get some independent votes. She's going to have to get some independent votes to win.
But James, she's saying, but they're also saying, look, the polls, she's still winning head-to-head against every Republican in the field. What does that say about the Republican candidates? Are they weak, or does this not matter?
I think at this stage that's a largely meaningless poll, because the Republican candidates are just getting started in a very crowded primary. You have a lot of people who are in low single digits, some of whom will could end up being the nominee. Others, even the front runners, are mid-teens. They're just beginning to define themselves, not highly relevant.
Kim, what about the Bernie boomlet, the Bernie Sanders media flurry saying Bernie Sanders getting big crowds in Iowa, the Vermont senator, and suddenly is he really catching fire out there? Could he possibly be a threat to Hillary Clinton?
You know, Paul, I think when you start from a very low base and then suddenly you double it, it seems very exciting. But still, I mean, we're talking about maybe 9% of Democrats out there supporting Bernie Sanders. You know, this is a guy that not many people know, and he's not really a threat to Hillary Clinton. And I think that this is actually what is beginning to worry a lot of Democrats out there, that there is no competition in this race. She is just simply going to be their horse, and yet she is racking up a lot of liabilities for when she goes into a general election.
I know Freeman's got Bernie fever. Dan's more Martin O'Malley, I think. All right, we'll get into the.
Don't hold it.
All right.